Hey guys, today we got a 1999 Polaris Sportsman 500. This thing used to be Polaris's best-selling ATV. Could have been the best-selling ATV of all time in the 2000s and stuff, late 90s. But let's check it out a little bit, and then we're going to do a test ride. So this specific one has certainly seen better days. As you can see, it's spent most of its life outside. The plastics are faded. This should be a nice bright red, and it's like pink. Well, if we go under here, you can kind of see what the original color looked like. But yeah, you wouldn't believe how many miles are on this thing. Let's go over here, check it out. It's got 833 miles. Check the hours. 208 hours on this. So I'll tell you what happened. This was owned by a used car dealership, and what they did, they used this thing as, who would do this? There's much better ways to, even if it was broke, to, put that together. But anyways, it was used to push cars in and out of the garage and around the parking lot. So as you can see, the tires are kind of worn down for 800 miles. Of course, they got some weather crack, and that's to be expected for, what is it, 30 some on years old. But even the tread's worn down quite a bit, and it's because it was on the pavement the whole time. But yeah, let's take this thing for a ride and see how it goes. So what we got here is your key switches here. Your starter button is like the older Polaris's, so it's right on your kill switch. Your kill switch is, you go to the left, go to the right, that's off. Right in the center is run, and you push up on it. You see the thing fires right up, runs great. We got our gear selector right here. So in the center is neutral, all the way back is reverse. Go back to neutral, go over to the right, and then up for low range. Go back to neutral, just straight up is high. So we're gonna run in high and two-wheel drive, and we'll get going here. So yes, this is a 99 Polaris Sportsman 500. They made these, they started in 96 with the 500, and it's a 498cc single overhead cam, liquid cooled engine. It makes very good power on the low range. This is a heavy machine. This is just shy of 700 pounds dry weight. So when you're comparing it to a lot of the Japanese manufacturers of the time, they were all under 600 pounds dry weight. So this was quite heavy, but because it was heavy, it makes for a good workhorse. It gets, better traction than the others. But and you have the all-wheel drive system. We're going to try that out here pretty soon. So this is this was one of their best-selling ATVs, and one of the best-selling ATVs of all times, the Sportsman 500, mainly because this thing rode great. This thing rides really good, even today's standards. This will still ride better than a lot of your Hondas out there. The ones that are more work-oriented, this will ride good. It still compares to some of the new machines. And it's fully independent suspension, front and rear, so everything it has good ground clearance. This thing's rattling all the heck. I gotta fix that, but yeah, fully automatic. It's a CVT transmission, belt drive. It's it works really good. Some people don't like that. Some people hate CVTs because of the belt. You get in water and it can slip, which is true. However, where your standard transmissions or automatics that don't have the CVT, if you go into water and you still take in water, yeah, you might be able to get out of there and it'll still go. However, you're going to want to change that because that water, you're going to want to change the oil in that because the water's, you know, contaminating the oil and your transmission's not going to last long. This, if it gets on the belt, well, what's it going to do? It's going to wear out the belt. It could wear out the clutches if you hammer it on it enough. But, you know, it's all external of the engine, so it works great. Another good feature to this machine, well, it depends. If, you know, if you're looking for compactness with the engine transmission, a lot of your Japanese machines like Honda, Yamaha, Suzuki, the engine and transmissions are all built into one. And that works really good for combining space. However, when you know, if you're a mechanic and working on these things, it's nice to, you know, if you got a blown motor, blown transmission, it's nice to change one or the other out. This has a separate motor and transmission, so it works. I like that feature. Same thing with the Can-Ams. You know, I like those other than the 400. That's different. But so we're going to go ahead, throw it in low range, try out this all-wheel drive system. This is another nice feature. This has got the Hillard clutch style hubs. So basically, it's kind of it's got a clutch in there and it's controlled by a magnet. So there's a few things that can go wrong with them, but when they're working great, oh, they work really nice. Even these old systems, they work good. But you got to change out your fluids. You know, if you keep up the maintenance on these things, they last a long time and they work really nice. Go back to high range because this thing's low geared enough where you don't need low unless you're going over stuff like that. You can get up it in high. However, it's easy on the belt system. If look at that, do a wheelie over stuff. It's easier, you know, if you use low range when you should. Just because you don't need to doesn't mean you shouldn't. So we're gonna go ahead. Our snow pretty much all melted here, so I can do the loop again without having to worry about getting stuck. We're gonna go ahead and do a top speed run. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I can hear it. This thing's, you know, it's clunking. Needs to be attached better. But this thing's seen better days. But I mean, it's only got 800 and some odd miles, 200 hours. It's still a decent machine. It's worth putting a little money into. I guess I'm gonna have to bring the chainsaw up here. We'll go ahead and walk the machine through. Oh, there we go. So as you can see, these rocks, that's a pretty good sized rock. We can go right over it without worrying. It's got good clearance on it. Now this is the non-HO model. So Polaris made a Sportsman 500, you know, the plain 500 from in '99, and you could get the HO in a later model. I don't know if 2000 offered it, but 01 definitely did. I'm going to throw it back in low range and all-wheel drive because of a little soupy through here. I'm fogging up, so I gotta crack my window a little bit. Windshield. So this is nice. You know, it's soupy. We got rocks, off-camber stuff, and that all-wheel drive system works very good for this stuff. You know, this thing doesn't even have the best tires. However, I mean, it just crawls over it. Another good thing with the all-wheel drive is it does not handle, you know, so some of the other machines that you can lock the four-wheel drive in, you know, it's great to lock in a front, when you have four-wheel drive, true four-wheel drive, when you lock everything in, I mean, that's great. I'm not saying that's not, I'm just saying this type of system will steer much easier than a fully locked system. You know, I'm in all-wheel drive right now, and it's not much, a little bit stiffer than two-wheel drive, but not bad at all. But, and we can leave it right in there, it doesn't matter. I just prefer to put it in two-wheel when I'm not using it. You can see these, hear this transmission, you get up into low range doing 15, 20 miles an hour, starts whining pretty good. Just the way the CVT, the driveline noises are. But yeah, for now, we'll put it back in two-wheel drive and high range. And we're going to test out another good feature about these Sportsmans. This has, you can read it there, EBS, dual sensing. So it basically has it's an engine braking system. And the dual sensing is it's controlled by both the driven clutch and the drive clutch. So it's a good system. I'll show you in a second here when we start going downhill. And remember, we're in high range. No brakes are being applied. Speaking of brakes, it's a one lever operated brake that controls front and rear. Plus you get a foot brake here to control just the rear. So you see all these little features. You can see why it was a best-selling ATV. You know, it's super easy to drive, got good power, rides great. Anybody can drive this thing for sure. But yeah, so I'll let off the throttle here, and you can see it stays a nice slow speed. And say we stop here and we were going down a real steep hill, you throw it in low range, same thing, it's going to go even slower. The one downfall on this Sportsman with the engine braking is all the engine braking power is applied to the rear wheels. So if you get into a real steep area and you let off the throttle and it's mucky, you know, if you got good traction, it's not going to bother. But if it's mucky, muddy, snowy, anything like that, your rear wheels are the only things that's going to be stopping you. So it can cause, you know, to, you know, basically not gain as much traction as you can, so it'll kind of swish splash a little bit. So on the newer Sportsmans, not all of them, because you can still get the base models with the same setup almost, the 570s, even the 850s. I think the base models you have that same type of engine braking, only applied to the rear wheels. But some of the higher packages, you have an ADC, active descent control, and that is really nice as long as you keep up the maintenance, because I've seen people not keep up the maintenance on it and then the system will fail. It's actually, it's got like clutch packs in your front differential, and it'll apply, you know, it'll take your same engine braking from the rear wheels and apply it evenly to all four wheels. And you want to talk about slowing down. I mean, I've gone down a steep mountain before where everybody was riding their brakes the whole way down and I did not touch them once. It was great. That was on my 850. I used to have Sportsman 850 XP. But anyways, that's not this machine, so let's stop talking about that. Got a little bit of snow left here, but pretty much all gone. Yeah, this is a great trail machine. We're doing trail riding right now is what we're doing. I'm also going to do a utility segment on this ATV here, coming pretty soon, because this one's going to be for sale. I'd say the price ranges in my area, Vermont, this is Northeast Vermont, the price ranges on this, you know, it all depends, but running, driving, conditioning, no, you know, basically no issues like that. They've been ranging from 2,000 to, I want to say, you know, I've seen them posted for 4,000, but that's outrageous for something like this. But, you know, I'd say 2,000 to 3,000 depending on condition. This one's kind of rough. It's going to go lower than the 2000. It'll be under that for sure. But that's what I've seen them posted for, and so they still bring decent money because, as you can see, they're a nice machine still. So we're going to go ahead and we got our top speed run. While we're talking about price, might as well tell you when this thing retailed, what this thing retailed new for back in '99, it was $6,750. So a little pricey, but not horrible. So we're gonna do our top speed run, high range here, and we're just gonna punch it and see what we can get. You can see this thing really gets off the line really good. We're running the GPS on the GoPro, so I don't know what that says, but right here we're doing 50 miles an hour already, and you know, that's pretty good on a big heavy machine like this. You know, we're almost maxing out the speedo. You know, and this thing, these Polarises, they don't seem to over rev really. I'm gonna try to straddle this mud and ruts. But yeah, it looks like it's showing about 58. I don't know if that's a true speed. We'll see when I get home on the GPS. You guys will see it right now, but we'll let off. That's this machine. Great machine. I'd say this is probably one of the better valued machines right now. But they're, you know, they have their flaws just like everything else. So hope you guys enjoyed.